Yes, students, good morning. And now today we are going to start the last video for the rotational motion. And in the today's video, we are going to discuss about basic concept of moment of inertia. Basic concept of moment of inertia. Second thing is a relation between moment of inertia and rotational kinetic energy. Third one is radius of gyration. Radius of gyration. Perpendicular and parallel axis theorem and numericals based on this. So these things we are going to discuss in today's video. So let us start our discussion. So first of all, we are going to start, that is concept of moment of yes students, we have to start about the concept of moment of inertia. As you are seeing that it is constituted of two things, moment plus inertia. Moment plus inertia. Now you know that what is inertia. Inertia in chapter 4th, that is laws of motion, you had studied about the term inertia, and inertia is the property of the body by the virtue of which the body does not change its state, by the virtue of which the body does not change its state. If the body is in motion, it tries to be in motion, and if the body is in rest, it tries to be in rest. So this is called inertia, and inertia is not, it is only due to the mass of the body. It is only due to the mass of the body. Means if the body is more massive, it has more inertia. If mass is more, then inertia is more. Inertia is also more. And if mass is less, inertia is less. So, and moment is what? Moment is the perpendicular distance. Perpendicular. Moment is the perpendicular distance. Moment is the perpendicular distance. So, as much the mass of the body, more torque is required on the body to rotate. More torque is required on the body to rotate. And so, heavy mass bodies has more moment of inertia, and less mass bodies have lesser moment of inertia. So, moment of inertia is nothing. Moment of inertia is a rotational analog of mass. A rotational analog of mass. Moment of inertia is the rotational analog of mass. Suppose this is a heavy body to rotate it about this axis, to rotate it about this axis, more torque is required. More torque is required. And suppose this is a smaller body of mass, to rotate about this axis, less torque is required. So the mass of the body has the only property, the mass of the body has only property to restrict the motion of the object or rotation of the object due to the applied torque. So that property of the body which opposes or restricts the applied torque is called as moment of inertia. Inherent property of the body which opposes the applied torque. That inherent property of the body which is due to the mass of the body, and that is called as the moment of inertia of the body. Now let us calculate the moment of inertia of a rigid body. Now we will calculate the moment of inertia of the rigid body. Suppose I am taking a rigid body, and this rigid body is being constituted of different masses m1, m2, m3 and mn. These are the different masses and their positions are r1, r2, r3 and rn. Now this mass m1 is moving with velocity v1, this mass m2 is moving with velocity v2, this mass m3 is moving along velocity v3, and this is moving along velocity vn. These are the different velocities of different masses along this axis of rotation. The body is rotating about this axis of rotation. So if I want to talk about the total kinetic energy, total kinetic energy of the constituent particles, it can be given as half m1 v1 square plus half m2 v2 square plus half m3 v3 square plus up to soon half mn vn square. So summation all kinetic energy can be written as summation I is equal to 1 to n 1 by 2 mi vi square. And as you know that so k can be written as summation I is equal to 1 to n 1 by 2 mi into vi square. Now from the circular motion you know that v is equal to what? V is equal to r into omega. V is equal to r into omega. So putting the value of, and now since look at here, the angular positions, the angular velocity omega for each and every particle will be same because they are displacing equal angular displacement in equal interval of time. Since they are displacing equal angular displacements in equal interval of time, so their angular velocity is same. So we can write it here as summation I is equal to 1 to n 1 by 2 m I r I omega square, or k is equal to 1 by 2 summation I is equal to 1 to n m I r I omega s r I square omega square. Clear, students? Now omega is the fixed, omega has equal value for each, so it can be taken 1 by 2 omega square summation I is equal to 1 to n m I r I square m I r I square. Now mass into distance, mass into perpendicular distance, mass into perpendicular distance. This is the moment, this is the moment, and this is the only factor, this is the only factor which can be opposing the torque which is applying on the body to rotate the body. This only factor is opposing that torque, so this is called as moment of inertia, or k can be written as 1 by 2 I into omega square, where the value of I is equal to summation I is equal to 1 to n m I r I square. So this is the expression for moment of inertia. Now dear students, we have to look for rotational kinetic energy and moment of inertia. So rotational kinetic energy, what is the value of rotational kinetic energy? Rotational kinetic energy can be given as half summation mr square into omega square, and as you know that mr square is equal to I omega square. If we consider, if omega is equal to 1 radian per second, if omega is equal to 1 radian per second, so rotational kinetic energy is equal to 1 upon 2 1 square, and from here moment of inertia I is equal to twice into rotational kinetic energy. Moment of inertia is equal to twice into rotational kinetic energy. Now students, suppose, look at here, I am considering a rigid body. And this rigid body is rotating about this axis. This is the axis of rotation. This is the axis of rotation of the rigid body. And if we consider a mass dm, because this rigid body can be considered as differentially mass distributed over the whole body, What is the meaning of differentially mass distributed over the whole body? Means there is a continuous distribution of mass. There is a continuous distribution of mass, and we had taken an elemental mass dm in this rigid body, and the distance of this differential mass is r. So how can we calculate the moment of inertia? The moment of inertia of that rigid body can be calculated as r square into dm. This differential and integrating it throughout the area or throughout the volume of this rigid body. So in this way we can get the moment of inertia of the rigid body. Now next heading is radius of gyration. Look at the topic radius of gyration. Next one is radius of gyration. So radius of gyration is nothing. Radius of gyration, suppose I am taking a rigid body which is rotating about this axis, and it is constituted with different masses m1, m2, m3 and mn. r1, rn, r2, r3. Okay students, so if we want to calculate the moment of inertia of the whole system, then we will get I is equal to m1 r1 square plus m2 r2 square plus m3 r3 square plus up to soon mn rn square. This is the moment of inertia for the whole system, and if m1 is equal to m2 is equal to m3 is equal to up to soon mn and whole is equal to m, then I is equal to m is taken out because all the masses are equal, so it will be equal to r1 square plus r2 square plus r3 square plus up to soon rn square. It is equal to r1 square plus r2. Suppose this is equation 1. Now let us suppose another case. Suppose this is the body, and the whole mass, this body is rotating about this axis. This is the omega by which the body is rotating, and if we had supposed the whole mass of the body is concentrated at this point, and this point capital M is at a distance k from the axis of rotation. This point k is at the axis of rotation, so this k is called as radius of gyration. This k is called as radius of this k. If the whole mass of the body is concentrated at a given point, the distance from the axis of rotation of that point is called as the radius of gyration, that is called as k, and it can be given as I is equal to mk square. Now from here we can find the value of k square. Suppose this is equation 1, m into k square. Now equating both the equations, m k square is equal to m into r1 square plus r2 square plus r3 square plus up to soon rn square, and from here k square m r1 square plus r2 square plus r3 square plus up to soon rn square upon capital M. Now look at here, this capital M, this capital M can be written as the sum of n small masses equal masses. So capital M can be written as a small n into m. Now replacing it, so k square is equal to a small m r1 square plus r2 square plus up to soon rn square upon a small n m to m cancel out, and from here k is equal to under root r1 square plus r2 square plus r3 square upon n. So here I am writing k is equal to under root r1 square plus r2 square plus r3 square up to soon rn square divided by n. This is called as radius of gyration. This is the expression for radius of gyration. Now here student, look at a question in front of you. Four masses are rotated about an axis. This is axis O, about which the four masses of 3m, 2m, m and 2m are rotated. Find the radius of gyration of the system. You have to find the radius of gyration of the system. So first of all, moment of inertia of each masses. Moment of inertia of each masses. So I1 is equal to m into r square. I2 is equal to 2m into r square. I3 is equal to m into r square, and I4 is equal to 2m into r square. So total moment of inertia of the system is equal to I1 plus I2 plus I3 plus I4, and it is equal to 3m r square plus 2m r square plus m r square plus 2m r square, and it is equal to, I think, 2 to 4, 4, 8 m r square. 8 m r square is the total moment of inertia. Now you have to find about the total radius of gyration, and radius of gyration is equal to k square is equal to I upon m. So I is equal to 8m r square upon 8m. 8m to 8m cancel, and k is equal to r. The radius of gyration is equal to radius of value of radius of gyration is equal to r. So this is the numerical which is based on, this is the numerical which is based on the radius of gyration. Now we are going to discuss about the last topic, that is theorem of perpendicular and parallel axis. 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 What does the theorem of perpendicular and parallel axis called? Parallel axis means suppose it is given that there is a disk and its moment of inertia about this axis of rotation is 1 by 3 r square. This is given. I have supposed this thing, and if you have to find the moment of inertia about this axis of rotation, here you have to find the moment of inertia about this axis of rotation. So what we will do for parallel axis theorem, you have to do what? Suppose this is the center of mass, and so moment of inertia along the parallel axis is given by I center of mass, moment of inertia along the center of mass into mass of the whole disk into separation between this and this square, that is, if it is r, then r square, and it is equal to 1 by 3 mr square plus mr 1 by 3 mr square plus mr square, and it is equal to mr square plus 3 mr square upon 3, that is equal to 4 upon 3 mr square. Means, according to parallel axis theorem, if the moment of inertia of a body about the center of mass is given, then you can easily, by using this formula, you can easily find the moment of inertia of the body about any axis which is parallel to the given axis. And second is the perpendicular axis theorem. What does the perpendicular axis theorem says? Perpendicular axis theorem. And perpendicular axis theorem says that suppose this is a disk, and the moment of inertia of the disk, you are knowing the moment of inertia of the disk along z axis Iz, okay, which is perpendicular to the two axes, that is x axis and y axis, which is perpendicular to the x axis and y axis. So if you are knowing the moment of inertia along z axis, then the moment of inertia along z axis is equal to moment of inertia along x axis plus moment of inertia along y axis. Okay. So if the moment of inertia along the diameter, this is the diameter and this is the diameter, and this body is symmetrical about both the diameters, so the moment of inertia along its diameter will be same. And suppose it is given that Ix is equal to Iy is equal to what? Id, by symmetry. If Ix is equal to Iy is equal to Id, then moment of inertia along z axis is equal to twice of Id, or moment of inertia along Id is equal to Iz divided by 2. Means whatever the moment of inertia along z axis it is given divided by 2, we will get the moment of inertia along both the axes. So Ix is equal to Iy and it is equal to Id. So whatever the value of Id you will get here, the same is the moment of inertia along x axis and y axis. So these are the two theorems, that is parallel axis theorem and perpendicular axis theorem. Based on this, we are going to do two examples. One example based on parallel axis theorem and other example based on perpendicular axis theorem. Example on parallel axis. Example on parallel axis theorem. Suppose it is given that moment of inertia of a disk along the plane perpendicular to the disk passing through the center. This is the disk and this is the plane, this is perpendicular, that is I center of mass. It is given and its value is given that 1 by 2 mr square. 1 by 2 mr square. And you have to find the moment of inertia of this disk about this axis, which is at the separation of r, which is at the separation of r. So I is equal to ICM plus MH square, and h is the distance from this axis to this axis, so it will be mr square. So 1 by 2 mr square plus mr square, and it is equal to what? 3 mr square upon 2. This is the moment of inertia. Another example based on example on perpendicular axis. Example on perpendicular axis theorem and moment of inertia about an axis through its center of mass perpendicular to its plane. Suppose there is a disk, it is given. So one of the axis is IZ, another axis is IX, and another axis is IY. So according to perpendicular axis theorem, it is given the Z is 1 by 2 mr square. As you know that disk moment of inertia about center of mass is 1 by 2 mr square. So according to perpendicular axis theorem, IZ is equal to IX plus IY, and IZ it is given that 1 by 2 mr square, and that is equal to ID plus ID, and it is equal to twice of ID is equal to 1 by 2 mr square, and ID is equal to 1 by 4 mr square. ID is equal to, and you had supposed that IX is equal to IY is equal to ID by what? By symmetry. By symmetry, because this disk is symmetrical about this axis and this axis. So the moment of inertia along this axis and along this axis, both the axes will be same. So ID will be equal to, or you can say that IX is equal to IY is equal to 1 by 4 mr square. So dear students, this is about the parallel axis and perpendicular axis theorem. Now we will discuss about the kinetic equations of rotational motion about a fixed axis. kinetic equations of rotational motion about a fixed kinetic equation of rotational motion about a fixed axis. So dear students, as you know that suppose a body is moving linear motion, suppose the body is doing linear motion, or you can say that motion in a straight line. So for a body moving in a straight line or body is doing motion along a straight line, in that case you had studied about three equations of motion. First equation is V is equal to U plus AT, that is velocity time relation. Second, you had studied that S is equal to UT plus half AT square, position time relation. And third, you had studied about V square minus U square is equal to 2AS, position velocity relation. Position velocity relation. These are the equation of motion for a body moving along a straight line. But for what? All have constant acceleration. Constant acceleration. All have constant acceleration. But for what? If a body is rotating about an axis, if a body is rotating about an axis with constant angular acceleration alpha, constant angular acceleration, rotational motion, with constant angular acceleration alpha, then what we will do? All these velocities we will put with its rotational analog. All the values we put along with its rotational analog, and the first equation will become omega naught is the initial angular velocity and omega is the final angular velocity, plus alpha t, that is velocity time relation for rotational motion. Velocity time relation for rotational motion. Second one is the displacement, that is angular displacement theta is equal to omega naught t plus half alpha t square. Position time relation. And third one is omega square minus omega naught square is equal to 2 alpha theta minus theta naught, that is displacement theta minus theta naught, and it is position velocity relation. Okay students, so the same thing in its rotational analog, it is written for rotational motion, it is for linear motion, and it is for rotational motion. Now look for a question based on this. Yes students, look at here. The angular speed of a motor wheel is increased from 1200 rpm to 3120 rpm in 16 seconds. Revolution per minute is given. What is its angular acceleration and how many revolution does the engine make during this time. So look at its solution. N naught is equal to 1200 rpm, N naught is equal to 1200 rpm, and it can be converted into radian per second. So 2 pi upon 60 into N naught, and it is equal to 2 pi upon 60 into 1200 radian per second. That is 40 pi radian per second. N is equal to what? N is equal to given 3120 rpm, that is 2 pi upon 60 into 3120, and 2 pi upon 60 into 3120 radian per second. (104 pi radian per second). 104 pi radian per second. So we had got the value of omega naught is equal to 40 pi radian per second, and omega is equal to 104 pi radian per second. So we have to calculate the value of alpha. Alpha is equal to omega minus omega naught upon t, and it is equal to 104 pi minus 40 pi upon 60, and this is equal to what? 4 pi radian per second. 4 pi radian per second. Clear? This is the value of alpha. Now we have to find about the angular displacement. Angular displacement. So for angular displacement, in time t, angular displacement in time t. So theta is equal to what? Theta is equal to omega naught t plus alpha t square. Omega naught t plus alpha, half alpha t square. And here, look at here, theta is equal to 40 pi into 60. Theta is equal to 40 pi into 60 plus half into alpha. Alpha value we had calculated, that is equal to 4 pi into 16 square. 4 pi into 16 square, and on solving this we will get the value 1152 pi radian per second. 1152 pi radian per second. Now we have to calculate the number of revolutions. So theta upon 2 pi, n is equal to number of revolutions, that is equal to theta upon 2 pi, and the value of theta we had got 1152 pi upon 2 pi. Pi to pi cancel. 2 5 are 10, 2 7 are 14, 2 7 are 576 revolutions. Means the motor wheel had covered the revolution of 576 revolutions it had completed. So, dear students, this is all about the rotational motion, all the topics we had covered for the rotational motion. Now, in the next video, we are going to discuss about the next chapter, that is chapter number 9, mechanical properties of solids. Thank you students, have a nice day.